Hey, Dr. Frankie here. And so before we jump into my topic for the day, I want to just share that this past weekend, I got contacted by one of my former clients from a good number of years ago who wanted to reconnect, wanted to check in, which often happens. I'll work with folks pretty closely, intensely for a while, whether it be a few weeks, a few months, a few years, and then they go off on their own and they practice the skills and they do life and then come back for tune up, check in, and so forth. And this client is just like, it's amazing. One, I'm so honored and touched when folks come back around to connect with me and to share about how everything we had worked on, so many aspects of it actually really have made such a major difference in their lives that they were able to really integrate it into a new way of seeing things, of living, choosing purposefully about sort of how they spend their time, where they, who they share their energy with, where they want to be, how they want to see things. And it's just beautiful. So anyway, this client is thriving and doing amazingly well, and also mentioned quantum physics treatment, which is interesting. That was one part of many different ways in which this person engaged in their own journey of healing. So my point in saying this is, one, I just have so much gratitude and appreciation for clients that come back around and want to share and celebrate with me their successes. But the other thing is that there's not one way to go about healing. And it's important to kind of consider what else is out there. So if you're doing one type of healing right now and you feel like, it's run its course and you're not really getting much more out of it, it's totally fine to let your practitioner know, hey, like I'm thinking I want to explore something else. Maybe I'll be back, maybe I won't, and just have gratitude for what it is that you've learned and shared together and move on to something else that could actually deepening, that's the idea, is to get deeper, more curious, and what works for one person may not work for another. So it's like there's so many different things out there, tools and modalities, healing modalities that you can consider. So just encouraging you to be curious and explore other options, and don't feel like there's just one way, like talk therapy is the only way, for example, to get healing and relief and freedom emotionally, and greater understanding about oneself and the ability to get closer to others, because there's so many different ways. And that's what I got to say about that. So let's jump into my topic for the day, which is Guide to Foreplay. Folks are really wanting more from me around sexual intimacy. So I'm going to try to put more content out there to meet those needs, because as you know, I like to serve our community, my subscribers. So definitely let me know if there's topics that you want me to dig deeper into, or there are topics that I haven't really touched on at all. I'm happy to do the research and share my perspective. And as always, it's really important for me to be putting information out there that is science-based, that is rooted in research, and so on. So here goes. Foreplay. Here's a guide today I'm going to share with you around foreplay. So sometimes sex just doesn't feel as satisfying with your partner as you want it to be, even when it's with someone you care deeply about and very attracted to. If this is happening consistently, one possible culprit could be inadequate or insufficient foreplay. If your body and your mind aren't feeling fully ready and enthusiastic about sex, the experience is likely not going to be as good as it could be for either of you. So today I want to share what could make things better. And one thing to consider is foreplay. So how do we level up our sex life? Foreplay. So what is this thing called foreplay? In basic terms, foreplay includes the activities leading up to sex. Anything you and your partner do together to relax, to get turned on, and to actually warm into the experience, or otherwise get into the rhythm of actually having sex. Often foreplay is imagined as activities leading up to intercourse or vaginal penetration, designed to make sure the person with a vulva was relaxed, turned on, and really lubricated enough to enjoy sex. For some people, like people who experience vaginismus or for whom intercourse can sometimes be painful, foreplay may be more of a necessity than for others. If you or your partner struggle with having orgasms consistently, better foreplay may also be an important factor in making orgasming easier and more accessible. Of course, we know that sex doesn't just mean vaginal penetration. So, in practice, especially for queer people, the line defining when foreplay turns into sex can get a little blurry. Foreplay is also often referenced as a physical act, making out, fondling, stimulation with your hands or your mouth before penetration. But for many people, effective foreplay is just as much about mental and emotional engagement. Talking about sex, intimacy openly, and what you like around it is so important. The first step for good sex with anyone, even casual partners, is direct communication about what you both like and what you're looking for. Whether that's a yes, no, a maybe list, which I've talked about previously, so check out that video, or just a back and forth conversation. This really helps you understand how much and what kind of foreplay your partner needs. Because there's not a one size fits all, we're all different. So don't assume what you did with your last partner is necessarily what your current partner wants to experience. For some people, a favorite fantasy might be a 15-minute quickie with a little warm up. Others might need a full hour of oral sex before they feel relaxed enough for penetration. A third person might hate receiving oral sex in any context. If you don't ask, there's no way of knowing. If something like a yes, no, maybe list feels too formal or clinical to you, sharing your favorite fantasies, even over text or email, can be a really hot and efficient way to get a feel for what the other person is most into. Building intimacy and connection. At its core, effective foreplay is about feeling comfort and ease with your partner. And the best way to do this is by having a high level baseline comfort and ease in your relationship. If you feel resentful, disconnected, and distant from your partner, then nothing you do in the bedroom is going to make you feel relaxed and fun about having sex. Working from a strong baseline of intimacy and emotional connection means putting incremental amounts of work into your relationship every single day. Yes, every day. Relationships take work. Answering each other's bids, being attuned to each other's emotional state and needs, and making a point of continuously reestablishing your mutual attraction to each other. The strongest and most effective, satisfying long-term relationships are often the ones where both partners still flirt with each other, even 5, 10, or 20 years in. When was the last time you flirted with your partner? That's something you got to think about. You don't want to get into like a monotonous relationship where like it gets really mundane and routine. You want to be touching one another. You want to be playful, silly. Foreplay can begin before you even get home if you spend the last few hours of your workday sexting them from the office. That can be sexy. Foreplay in the bedroom. Once you are in bed, foreplay can look like a range of activities that you and your partner are both into. The only real requirement is taking your time and noticing what feels good to both of you and your partner without necessarily trying, like really focusing on an outcome, like moving toward penetration or orgasm as quickly as possible. You want to not do that, right? Foreplay can look like kissing or making out, touching, cuddling, sensual massage, dirty talk, mutual masturbation, breast or nipple play, voyeurism or striptease, role playing, oral sex, using toys for foreplay, looking for more intense foreplay. Open up your options by bringing in sex toys. There's so many on the market these days, so much research out there, so many like testimonials, and you can definitely hone in on the type of toy that might enhance your experience. A favorite vibrator can heat things up really quickly and can be used on other, I always say this, like erotic zones, zones. I get tongue twisted with certain words. Besides the genitals, there's so many areas in our body that turn us on. If you and your partner are open to exploring kink or BDSM, putting on a pair of cuffs during foreplay or using a light paddle can make everything more intense. Especially if it's something new and different. A lot of times that can bring an intensity that's really exciting and interesting and something that's newly experienced between the two of you. That's hot and sexy. If you or your partner are into anal sensation, wearing a butt plug or a prostate massager, getting one of those toys, incorporating it into foreplay can really increase connection, stimulation, excitement. If you're into sensual massage, favorite massage oils, there's some that heat up, there's some that are flavored, there's some that are very natural, and just gives you another way to connect. Candles, people love scents. People respond, to scents, and it can induce relaxation, desire. It can make the experience overall better. But you want to be mindful, right? Does this person like scents? You want to communicate, because some people are really not into scents. Some people are allergic to scents, really scent sensitive. So definitely lots of things to consider. And I say spend more time playing before jumping into the full blown act of sex, because there's so much to learn about one another in this way. And also, really, when we can learn about ourselves, if we can just be really present and connected to our person, so much to learn and enjoy with one another. So thanks for being here with me today and for taking in what I'm putting out there, and for showing up to watch what is important to me, and yeah, spread the love. So if you know anybody that could benefit from my channel, from the material that I cover, please share it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see y'all next week. Kisses, so much love, and I'll see you then.